Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. I'm your host, Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and this podcast are the audio versions of my live Q&A chats on YouTube. If you'd like to be part of the live Q&A chats, come on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. I'm live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. We talk about voiceover, the business of voiceover, audiobooks, and so much more. Find more information on my website, voiceoverangela.com. Enjoy today's episode. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for the live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you tips, tricks, techniques, things that I do every day in my own voiceover business. And then we get together in these weekly chats, mainly on YouTube. We're trying Facebook and Instagram today. We'll see how it goes. But glad to have you all here. Today, we're talking about character voices and holiday gig ideas for voice actors and or audiobook narrators. So if you have questions regarding character voices or what services you can offer as a voice actor for character voices, then please ask. Now is the time. There are no stupid questions. So don't think your question is too stupid or too green or newbie or whatever it is that's in your head, because they don't exist. We've all asked the same questions at some point, so ask away. Just as an FYI, the Instagram comments are not coming up in front of my eyes. I'm going to have to look over to the side, so that's what I'm doing. I've got multiple monitors going on today. But we do have a poll on YouTube. I don't think the rest of you can see it, but the poll on YouTube is, actually I can put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. How about that? What is the hardest part of meeting client expectations for character work? Now, if you're watching from another platform other than YouTube, then you can put your response to that, whatever it is, into the chat, and I'll be happy to address it if you have a question. But on YouTube, we have keeping voices consistent, switching between characters, matching the client's vision exactly, or pricing holiday voice work. 33% of you on YouTube said keeping voice consistent. 24% of you said switching between the characters. 33% of you said matching the client's vision, exactly. And 10% of you said pricing holiday voice work. So that's good. So it seems like the majority of you already know how to price these things. But just to touch on that quickly, if you think about from the client's perspective, if they have holiday voiceover work that they need done, character work. We're in the third week of October. So holidays are coming up pretty quick. It would be safe to assume that they need this production relatively quickly. So I would, you know me, I'm always very transparent and upfront about my pricing, and I try to keep it consistent across all platforms. But for holiday voiceover work, if you don't already have like a express delivery available, I would definitely make that option available, because they're at this point in time and getting closer to the holidays, they're going to need those projects done quickly, right? So they'll need those options. It would behoove you to have those options available. In terms of keeping the voice consistent, and I think this kind of goes with also matching the client's vision exactly. You want to collab with the client before you try out these character voices, even if the client has given you a little bit of an idea of what they're looking for. And at this point, you also have to remember that the client may not exactly know what they're looking for or how to articulate it either. They're trying their best to articulate what they're looking for, and you're trying your best to understand what it is that they're looking for in terms of a character voice. So this is the time where you want to get together with the author or client. And the easiest thing that I have found is to ask the client, is there an example of something that you've seen either on YouTube, Instagram, somewhere that you can share with me so I have an idea of what I'm trying to achieve, or a character in a movie or in a TV show, something somewhere that I can reference that it easily explains for both of us what it is that you're looking for. That is usually the easiest way to do that. Or at the very least, have the client record something in the tone and pace or the character voice that they're looking for themselves and send it to you. So you have some kind of an idea. And you still might have to do a little bit of trial and error. You might want to do maybe 2, 3, 4 different takes of character voices options to give the client to see if one of them at least is going the right direction. But keep in mind with these character voices, and depending on what you're using the character voice for, you want to make sure that you can sustain that character voice, that it's not going to completely destroy your voice. If it is, then it has to be something that is short. It has to be something that is not going to be like an audiobook, because you don't want to completely destroy your voice for the rest of the audiobook that you need to record and all of the other character voices. So you want to make sure that this voice is relatively sustainable, that it's not going to completely destroy your voice in the process. And it's something that you can sort of keep consistent, right? If you have multiple lines, you want to choose a voice that you can at least sustain throughout the length of the project. Hopefully it's not too long. I would say hydration too. Hydration tea. There's lots of different teas out there that you can use. I like the throat coat tea, especially if I'm doing something that's a little bit destructive on my voice. I like the throat coat tea. You can get that on Amazon. But any kind of tea that you like, hot water and honey, even if you're not a tea drinker. What else? Some people have said whiskey, but I don't know if that kind of keeps things clear. I don't recommend that, but I haven't personally tried it. Anyway, if you have something that you use to help keep the voice clear and comfortable and soothed, then please recommend that for everybody watching. Switching between characters is I guess also goes along with keeping the characters consistent. What we talk about a lot in our audiobook classes in Launchpad and all the places that I teach, a great thing to do if you have multiple characters and perhaps you have to come back and reference a voice later, what we do is you can do one of two things, actually one of probably 3 things. Depending on your DAW and what the capabilities of the DAW that you're using are, one way to do this that was brought up by one of our Launchpad members, what she does is that she has multi-track open in her DAW, and then she has a singular track for every character voice that's in this project. And that way, all she has to do is open up the multi-track project and then just highlight or mute all of the other voices and then just select the voice she wants to hear. And that is an easy reference to listen to the voice and go, oh yeah, that's what that guy sounds like. Another thing you can do is have a snippet of each character voice within a folder within the project on your computer that you can just easily reference. You can look through the file snippets and go, okay, this is character A. I'm going to listen to that. That's right. That's what he sounds like. Or the way that I do it is I have one master audio file and I take a snippet of each voice and then I paste it in and then separate them with markers. And then I name each marker that character. That way I can open up one file and I can easily see all the different characters that I'm trying to work with in this project. It just makes it easier for me to have it all in one file. So I just have one file open and ready and I can just go through and search for the character I'm looking for instead of having to open and close multiple files. That's just the way that I do it. There really isn't a right or a wrong way to do it, but whichever way works for you, I guess, is the right way. And that is one of the beauties of doing what we do in voiceover and audiobooks. There really isn't one right way to do really anything, right? Whatever works for you. Looking over my notes, make sure that I was touching on everything that I wanted to. Time crunches, versatility, clear communication. I think that is where, for character voices, where we get hung up the most is understanding each other, the actor and the client, right? Here are some, before we get to the chat, I'm going to get to the chat and all your questions, but I wanted to touch on some holiday character surface ideas that you can offer as a voice actor. Now, if you're on, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this, if you're on a place like Fiverr where you can have multiple gigs, what you want to have, and I always recommend this, is a singular character gig, right? All throughout the year for any kind of character that, you're open-ended. Client, come to me with your character idea and I will do it. But during the holidays, unless you are like top rated or something and you have the ability or you have access to multiple gigs, but if you don't, you can turn that evergreen year-long gig into a holiday gig every year, right? Just change the title, change the thumbnail, and you can make it more Christmas focused or, holiday focused. If you start even earlier in October, you can make it Halloween to Christmas focused, right? If you think about haunted houses, escape rooms, right? Any kind of spooky kind of, Halloween greetings, if there is, people, I've seen all kinds of weird stuff during my tenure in this career. But especially for Christmas, you're going to see a lot more of character holiday greetings, voicemail greetings. Maybe if you do a good Santa or Mrs. Claus or a Grinch kind of a voice, you can offer these things on Fiverr for whatever kind of purpose, for, animated shorts, again, for phone greetings, brand mascot voices. I made a lot of notes here. Animated holiday character kind of things, podcast ad voiceovers. As a voice artist, there are tons of applications for us. And this time of year, you want to capitalize on holiday character voices. Let's see. Grinch roasts your friends. I think that one was one that I saw last year that I think if you can do a good Grinch voice, you can make that a gig, or make that service available to people. You can roast friends, make audio clips of you roasting the client's friends as the Grinch. For TikTok, it's singing charactergrams. There are tons and tons of things that you can offer with character voices if you just kind of sit and think about it, Tons of stuff. So for those of you that aren't on Fiverr or are active on social media, you could make shorts, make reels, make TikTok videos of your voices doing all of these things and then get them out into the interwebs. Get them in front of the eyeballs that are there, right? Millions, if not billions of people on social media. So that's your homework for today. All right, let's get over to the comments. We've got quite a few. I'm going to take this down and I'm going to switch between what I can see on StreamYard and then move over to Instagram if there are any comments. I don't see any there yet, but let's get over to the comments. And again, I apologize for not being here last week. Of course, I came in here ready to go, and then computer said, not so much. Let's not do this today. It happens, right? It happens. Abe was first in today. Hey, Abe. Good morning, all from Nashville. May your mics be free of buzz, your neighbors be quiet, and your accents be accurate. Abe then says, an easy way for me to do characters is after reading and getting a sense of the character to find a celebrity or movie character with a similar vibe. Then I adopt that way of speaking. Yep, and we talk about that a lot in our groups as well. If you have, if you're doing an audiobook is a great example of that. If you're building a character sheet for, audiobook characters, and you are listing perhaps the character's background, of course, their name, a specific color highlight, if you go through and highlight the manuscript with their particular highlight color, so you can easily switch character voices. You can also include excuse me, in that character sheet, a picture or an animal. We learned that last week, that character reminds you of. So you can easily go, okay, this character sounds like Christopher Walken or, whomever, or reminds me of the energy of a, Pomeranian or whatever it is, or a peacock, right? Whatever it is that you want to use to help you easily get to that character voice. He says, not quite an impression and not similarly enough so that anyone would notice. And again, not all clients want distinct, separate voices either. This is also a conversation you want to have, especially for audiobooks, that you want to have with the client beforehand to get a good understanding of how they want the character voices handled. Now, a good example of very subtle character voices that I always recommend, especially if you're an audiobook narrator, you should listen to audiobooks. One in particular that I always recommend people listen to is Scott Brick's Jurassic Park. He is a great example of very subtle but still distinct character voices. So have a conversation with the client beforehand to see how they want the character voices handled. If it's like a sci-fi or a fantasy, they might want to be a little bit more outlandish and maybe a little bit more cartoony, but have that conversation with the author. They may not want distinction at all, Dwight's here. Hey, Dwight. Good morning, Miss Angela. I hope you are having a wonderful VO day. Hello, my fellow Angelistas and Angelistos. Oh, that was me. Jason Kirkover says, so excited to be here for the live teaching. Ready to learn more so I can earn more. That's right, Jason. I love that attitude. And attitude is half of it, right? Mindset. Positivity. If you don't know something, you don't know something yet, right? Don't let not knowing hold you back from starting. Abe says, I picked holiday pricing because that's a new topic for me. Ready for some learning today. As I mentioned before, I wouldn't change your holiday pricing unless you're one of those that offers all of the usage rights included in your base fee. For example, like on Fiverr, right? Because that's sort of a la carte. You have the base fee based on 100 words, and then you have all of the add-ons you can add on. And those add-ons are going to include commercial rights and full broadcast rights. But if you're on another platform, you want to make sure that all of those things are included somewhere, somehow, because I'd say 99% or 98% even of what we do is going to be online and maybe an ad of some sort promoted with paid advertising in some way, shape, or form. But really, for me, I think speed is really the name of the game when it comes to holiday stuff. Because voiceover is usually one of the last things on the list. If you think of like a video producer, the first thing they're going to get done is the video, right? Or maybe the script even. The script and then the video to match the script, and then voiceover is almost an afterthought. So they're usually going to need that quickly. Hannah Maria come on, Angela. Antson. Hello. Hi again from Estonia. So last week was supposed to be my first live. Sorry. I even had my intro comment ready, but since that stream didn't happen, here I am, trying again this week. Yeah, that was my bad. It might be time for a new rig. Hannah says, no worries, though. It just gave me more time to binge even more of this channel's videos and streams. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. My addiction has definitely gotten worse, but in the best way possible. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hi again, and thank you for creating such a special space. It brings such a huge smile on my face to finally be here live with everyone. Well, we're glad to have you, Hannah. I love your energy. Strange Storm Cat says, hello all. I answered consistency. Only because I haven't had to do multiple accents before, so I worry that I'll mix them together accidentally. Yeah, when it comes to accents, specifically, as you all know, I tell everybody I'm not great at accents. I mean, I can hear it perfectly in my head, But getting it out of my mouth that way is a whole other ballgame, and I usually cannot deliver. So I'm usually upfront with my clients, and I ask them, are they needing any accents? Is there anything that I need to know about character differentiation? Are there dialects? What is there that I need to know? Because I may have to turn this down if I can't do it. And that's only fair. And you should, unless you're willing to really give it a try beforehand to make sure that you can sustain an accent believably. Believably is the key word there. It has to come out sounding like that accent. And if you can't, you might just have to bite the bullet and say, hey, be transparent with your client and say, I'm not comfortable with doing that yet, right? That said, I'll be popping in and out, catch what I miss in replay. So here are the custard-filled donuts. Oh boy. Love me some donuts. Tanya's here. Hey, Tanya. Evening all. I went with matching their vision, as I've had issues with this a couple of times. One, because the character was based on a real person who was important to the author. Oh boy, that's nerve-wracking. Because you know that if it's anything other than right on the money, if it's someone that they know or someone important to them, that's going to be tough. Well, how did it go, Tanya? Were you able to do it? A Cup of Tea 101 says, morning all. Hope you're all doing well. So far, so good. Oh, here we go. Tanya says, the other because the author's views were so specific that he didn't want any deviation, and I had to re-record based on example recordings he sent me. And I've had to do that many times. That's not unusual, but it is, I don't want to say frustrating, but I want to say nerve-wracking, because you know that it has to be right on the money, pretty much. Hannah says, after watching so many videos that didn't help, I found a solution to a stupid mistake which made me fail ACX check. But I figured it out by myself, and I was on cloud 9 after that. Hashtag small wins. Absolutely. I say celebrate everything. Celebrate all the wins. Right? As we always say, if you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, that's still progress. Right? You got to look at it that way. You just have to. And celebrate all the little things that you accomplish throughout the day. And the week and the month. Because you're reprogramming your brain about all of the positive things, not all of the things that you didn't get done, right? If you look at the things that you didn't get done or you didn't achieve or even say you failed at, if you look at those as lessons that you're now stronger for having gone through them, that's a win. That's a plus, right? That's another tool in your tool belt that you didn't have before. If you look at it that way, then you can easily celebrate all of those things, right? Reprogram your brain to focus more on the positive than the negative. Trust me. Caesar's here. Hey, Caesar. Oh, hi, Angela. Once again, I have yet to encounter any of the issues mentioned in the poll, so I picked the likeliest scenario, which is meeting the rights holder's vision. They likely can be finicky at times. And I mean, yes, but I think rightly so. If they've spent years, working on a project, namely audiobooks, if we're talking audiobooks, they've more than likely spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on this thing. So some of them are going to be very picky. They're children, right? These are their children. And of course, they're going to be picky. And some are going to be a lot pickier than others, right? But it just kind of comes with the territory. I would be. If I wasn't already an audiobook narrator and I wrote a book, I already know in my head what these characters sound like. But again, going back to trying to articulate what the client wants or what their vision is going to be difficult for both of you, to get onto the same page. So the best thing that the author can do at that point is to give you a character idea from a movie, a TV show, like we talked about, or maybe a voice that they heard somewhere, YouTube, Instagram, wherever, right? That's the best way to go in that respect. Emily Lynn says, ACX is a nightmare to figure out, and if you're new to a DAW or adjusting, and part of your process is doubly so, congrats on finding a solution. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking ACX standards, I think that was one of the hardest things for me to get down, right? It took a lot of trial and error to get those down, but once you do, everything else is sort of cake. So if you start out in this industry with audiobooks, you're well prepared for any other kind of voiceover after that, because once you get those ACX standards down, everything else is sort of cake after that. But if you don't already know, if you're looking for an alternative to ACX, we have Academy Voices. Academy Voices is an audiobook production company. If you're an audiobook narrator or an author looking for an ACX alternative, academyvoices.com. It's an audiobook production company run by voice actors. Check it out if you sign up as a narrator or come and get your audiobook produced. We've got hundreds of narrators to choose from, and I think we just published audiobook number 400 and a lot more coming. So check us out. Again, academyvoices.com. I don't remember if I said that or not. Caesar says, outside of VO, it's not uncommon to encounter someone whose vision needs an exact match. Problematic when feedback uses subjective terms like, I'm just not feeling it, or it's not quite right. Yeah, I think that is the biggest struggle with clients, is getting across what it is that they're looking for. And then when they tell you it's not right, they can't exactly tell you what part of it or what about it, what aspect is not jiving, right? What about it is not what they're looking for. It could be pacing. It could be tone. It could be energy. It could be a number of different things or a combination of those things. And they don't know how to quite get that across. I think most of the time, especially more nowadays, I think I'm hearing it sounds robotic is mainly what I'm hearing, because that's the easiest thing to kind of trigger, right? Because we're kind of now getting used to the AI voices being present in social media and in a lot of other places. So it might not sound as natural, or maybe the pacing is just too perfect or whatever it is, right? They just can't quite articulate what about it that they want changed. So that is where you as the professional don't get upset. Don't get insulted. Just take a breath and start to ask questions. Or you can say, okay, that's fair. If they can't tell you exactly what it is, or even close to what it is that they want changed, ask them for something to reference, right? Some sort of an example they heard, seen something somewhere that they can send you that is close to what they're looking for. Oh my goodness, we have a super chat. I'm so sorry, I didn't see it. I'm too busy tangenting. Janelle, thank you, Janelle. Hi, Angela. A little something toward the new rig. I appreciate you, Janelle. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat, Janelle. It is appreciated. Of course, I lost my place. Hold on. Oh my gosh, so many comments. Okay, hold on. Good Lord. Okay, here we go. I got it. Alicia says, hi, everyone. Hi, Alicia. Pam's here. Hey, Pam. Whoop. Hey, Pam. Getting button pushing happy. Remy's here. First time I've managed to catch the session live. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Thank you for joining us, Remy. Let's see, just checking over on the Instagrams. I don't see any comments yet, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, I don't see any comments. Okay. Caesar says, other than that, character voices are easy and fun, at least for me. I love being someone or something other than myself, likely due to imposter syndrome. That's a tough one. Imposter syndrome. That said, hello everyone. I'm not late, I swear. I just don't know what to say until now. Also, you don't know what to say? I don't believe that for a minute. Also, I just auditioned my new mic yesterday, and it's brilliant. Probably the last I'll need. You're right. Famous last words right there. You have the worst gear acquisition system, gas, I have ever seen. Rustic Hillbilly, hello. Good morning. What's it like in Oregon this morning? Paul is here. Hey, Paul. Good morning. Good morning. George Griffin says, good day, one and all. Glad to be here with you. We're glad you're here with us, George. Good to have you. Trudy's here. Is it possible to make a track sound as if it was recorded in a recording booth with the proper editing and mastering? That's a loaded question. Yes, but you don't want to add a bunch of effects because, again, effects are meant to improve the sound of our voices, but if you use too much of a certain effect or not in the best harmony with other effects, long story short, every effect is a little bit destructive on the audio's quality. So if you're using too much effect, you're probably going to end up sounding worse than just taking the time to create a dedicated recording space. Not only that, but as a voice actor, audiobook narrator, you want your audio to sound consistent through every file that you record and create. So it would behoove you, how much I love that word, behoove you, to take the time to find a dedicated space to record your voiceovers, your audiobook work, and treat it for sound rather than having to just throw a bunch of effects on it and probably end up sounding a whole lot worse. So technically, yes, but is that sustainable in the long term? No. You're better off just creating a space. Hi, Angela. Disappointed I missed the last 2 weeks. Well, you didn't miss anything last week because I wasn't here because my computer was under the weather. So you didn't miss anything last week. Is it possible to make a track sound as if it recorded? Oh, we just hit that one. Emily Lynn says, I have what my friends why do I have such a hard time with that word? I'm skipping it. Call slime mouth girl. The mouth sounds be wild. I'm working on technique, mic placement, etc. It's hard to work a character voice and keep those things in mind. Slime girl mouth. I can relate, Emily Lynn. You're not the only one, and I know there's a lot of other people that do too. It doesn't matter if I brush my teeth, if I eat green apples, if I hydrate like a mad person. This is 28 ounces, this water bottle. I drink like 3 of these every day. And I'm still sticky-mouthed. It just is what it is. But the one thing that has definitely helped me is when I purchased, it was the advanced. Okay, let me back up. iZotope.com, iZotope.com. You want the RX suite of apps. There's 3 different packages. There's the Elements, the Standard, and the Advanced. There is a plugin called Mouth Declick that you can find in the Standard and Advanced packages. That one plugin, you can't buy it as a standalone plugin is what I'm getting at. You have to buy it as a bundle. And it's only available in Standard and Advanced. But Mouth Declick, if you apply that to all of your files, it will reduce or remove completely most, if not all, of your mouth clicks, saving you tons of time. I bought that package probably 5 years ago now, and I've upgraded, I think, once or twice to the newer packages. But hands down, one of the best investments I've ever made because it cuts down your editing time by at least 80%. I would fairly say 80%. Because otherwise you're having to go through and brush out all of the mouth clicks in your audio, where you apply this one plugin and it handles those for you. Now there's other plugins called Declick, but those are more for like static kind of clicks, like electronic sort of clicks. This one, Mouth Declick, is more focused on the organic, clicks from the mouth. Not to be gross, but it is what it is as a voice actor. It's what you got to deal with. But I highly recommend that plugin. Emily Lynn says, when practicing these things, are there any particular exercises and anchors you might recommend to make good habits into muscle memory? If we're talking characters, if you can establish a stable of archetypes or characters and work on those, like basic characters, like for me, I've got the lumberjack, and then I've got the bubblehead girl, and then, and then you can sort of take that archetype character and add some variables to it, some attributes to it. If you can get good at like basic archetype characters, then that is definitely something to work on. Also, there was something else that was like right here going, talk about me, but now it's gone. Pictures of people, pictures of characters would help too. That's what it was. Lead-ins. If you have a particular character in mind that you're trying to emulate, and I want to say mimic, but you're trying to emulate for that personality, then if that character has like a tagline or something they say that will instantly get you into that character's vibe, then do that. Just be sure to remove that lead-in, jump off, whatever you want to call it, out of your audio before you submit it to the client. Right? You can also do that with accents. We discovered that last week in Launchpad. I think it was Launchpad. Yeah, if you were trying to do a certain accent, if there's something that gets you into that accent, like, throwing a shrimp on the Barbie or something like that for whatever accent you're trying to do, that's a good lead-in, but make sure that you edit that out before you submit the project. Caesar says to Emily Lynn, hydration for sure, tongue scraping, all those oral rituals. Also, Biotin has a range of stuff that helps. Mouthwash, spray, oral gel. The oral gel is magic. I still haven't used any of the Biotin stuff, but Caesar swears by it, so it's good enough for me. Also, coffee should probably avoid. Dairy should probably avoid to reduce mouth noise. But you know me, I'm highly caffeinated all the time. You got to pry the coffee out of my dead cold hands. I just deal with it because I have to have it. Emily Lynn says humidifiers or moisture diffusers, even a little spritz bottles are helpful for me at least. Oh, hi. Biotin is a new one to me. I'll defo look into the oral gel. Thank you, Caesar. Jason, says, I love to drink coffee while I work. It isn't for everyone, but it works really well for me to keep my vocal cords warm and throat clear of phlegm. Yes, if the coffee is black. If there are no creamers or sugars or anything else in it, I can see that. I think that's when I go to tea, because I have to have creamer in my coffee. I just do. Spicy Caesar says, Emily Lynn, oh snap. Oh, big warning. Humidifiers in the studio can be dangerous. Microphone capsules are like sponges and can retain moisture. Please be careful. Yes, if you're going to be using a humidifier or like something that produces moisture, don't do that in your studio. Do it outside of your studio before you're getting ready. Unless it's one of those personal humidifiers that you put over your face that's got a little mask. Even then, I would make sure that your microphone is well away. But I would say it'd be better to do any kind of that kind of stuff outside of the studio before you go in. This stuff is too expensive and valuable to damage it, right? Kenny says, amount of clients I've had said to me, oh, just do what you think works. Yeah, me too. And a lot of them are very easygoing about it too, and some of them aren't. But it's still a good conversation to have, because even if a client tells you, you're the professional, I trust you, do what you think is right. And then you do what you think is right, and the client doesn't like it. and they want to change it up. So it's still a good conversation to have with the client beforehand. So you're both relatively close to the same page. Tanya says to Emily Lynn, everything Caesar says, but also remember to start hydrating about 2 hours before recording. Try not to close your mouth when you pause and possibly avoid dairy. Yes, avoid dairy if you can. It also causes the stomach grumbles too. Also eat, what do we think? An hour before you plan to narrate, so you're not hungry, so your stomach isn't growling. Or even avoid recording an hour, up to an hour after eating, because then we also have the digestion noises. So there's a lot of little things about your body that you're going to learn that you've probably never noticed before. Also jewelry, avoid jewelry, and maybe corduroy pants. If you're like a leg switcher, because you'll get that, you know. Jewelry, of course, is going to make noise when you move. What else? What other tips can we think of? Emily Lynn says, yep, keeping the humidifier out of the studio, more during breaks outside the studio. Good. Caesar says Tanya is absolutely correct, and that keeping your mouth slightly open during pauses will absolutely help. Chapstick or lip balm also helps. Yep, I've got, where is my chapstick? I always have one in my pocket. It's one of my vices. Thank you for reminding me there was a chapstick break. Remy says, that sounds really useful to have the references for each character in a single file. So far, I've been trying to search blindly through past recordings when looking for a voice. Work smarter. Absolutely. Emily Lynn says, the usual stuff to avoid, I gots, but my TMD is an issue. Trying to figure out exercises to better mitigate is part of my focus. Caesar says to Emily Lynn, TAT is tough. It can be managed without surgery, but frequent recording breaks will be a must. In any case, 1 to 3 hours of recording daily is most we can do realistically. I'm glad I'm not alone. I may need to pick your brain sometime down the road if time allows, if you're amenable. Let's see. Oh, Tanya's got a good comment. You could always make it a feature of your character's voice. All right, let's look for some questions. Hannah, you're now Hannah. I now W Hannah. You are now Hannah. Will I ever have a chance to book audiobook work in English when it's not my first language? Yes. 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 And if you speak other languages, that's even better. You have a leg up on most of us. You have more opportunities available to you than most of us. So all of that, yes. Emily Lynn says, that's a good idea too. I have always wanted to play a monster gal, and Slime Girl's a great pull. Hannah says, or Hannah, I have a good American accent, but I still hear my Estonian accent, and I'm worried that nobody will ever want me. Sorry for asking non-character related questions, but I have so many questions. It's fine. We encourage questions here. We turn no questions away, unless you're insulting or something. But no question is too dumb. Caesar says, if I can get it to, there we go. My brain is very pickable. Are you in Anthony Pica's Discord, Hannah? Sage is here. Hey, Sage, I've been seeing your TikToks. Good job, girl. Good afternoon, everyone. Just got home from PT, and yes, I brought cinnamon rolls, apple cider donuts, and pumpkin latte. I'm hungry. Dwight says to Emily Lynn, I use singing exercises like scales, lip and mouth exercises, and trills even, coupled with military box breathing to prep for recording every day. The range you get in sound and breathing makes for a greater range of voice characters. Yeah, a little meditation and a little practice in breathing. Warming everything up, right? You could do tongue twisters, as I mentioned, trills, just, exercising if you have TMJ like I do, the jaw thing. You can try opening your mouth super wide and closing it really slowly, just to get everything warmed up. So good exercises. Tanya says, welcome back, Hannah. Your channel is fantastic. Emily Lynn says singing exercises are great, and I should do those more too. My background in singing got me this far, but I may have rested on those particular laurels too long. Perhaps. Glowen's here, eh? Glowen. Good morning, afternoon, evening, all. Sorry I'm late. Had to stop and get a box of Boston cream and chocolate eclairs. I love chocolate eclairs. Kristen says, good morning. I hope everyone has a great week of voiceover ahead. Let's see, I still don't see any comments over on the Instagrams. Let's see. Tanya says, for the real person, I saw the scene one way, her being exhausted and defeated, but the author clarified his take as her being strong and defiant, and he was thrilled with the re-record. Oh, yeah. So if the client has a reference in voice tone, but what they're doing or feeling or what they're representing in that reference isn't exactly the tone they're looking for, is tough. It makes it a little bit harder to emulate. But good job if he was happy with it. Remy says, I'm working on a character right now that is both older and has a mixture of accents. Definitely a challenge for my voice to make him sound right and not too cartoony. Yeah, I would get into the practice of, I was going to say, if you're alone, just becoming this character and, you know, reading shampoo bottles. I mean, everywhere you are, talk and speak and act like the character. But, you know, if you're not alone often, you might get some strange looks from people, but who cares? Tell them you're a voice actor and you're practicing. It's okay. I talk to myself in a padded room all day and get paid for it. Kenny says, too right, Caesar. A client once went quiet on me for about 2 days after I asked, where was it they felt I didn't meet the standard they wanted? They were probably just at a loss for words. They probably didn't know how to articulate what they wanted. This would be a good opportunity to say, hey, just send me a reference, or you record something in how you want it, unless you're trying to match a particular voice. But if they have a particular tone or pace or emotion or something that they want you to emulate, have them record something. But if they have a voice or a character that they're trying to get you to sound like, then ask them for a reference. It's the easiest way to get to the point without them having to try to articulate it with words. Hannah says, I have to run dance class starting in 3 minutes. Have fun. We'll have to catch the rest from the replay. Sending hugs. Jason says, thank you for the tip. I will have to check out Academy Voices. Yep, academyvoices.com. If you guys know who Anthony Pica is, and I'm sure you do if you know who I am. Anthony Pica is my former coach. We've been friends for 8 years now at this point. Academy Voices is his audiobook publishing company. So again, if you're a narrator looking for an ACX alternative, go sign up, get on the roster. Or if you're an author, because I have authors that watch this channel too. If you're an author looking for an ACX alternative, all the same major platforms, all the same major distribution platforms, but with none of the blah blah. No AI. We're all humans all the time. Check us out. Glowen says, I have to go with consistency since I struggle to adopt a voice for more than a narrator, let alone characters. I've started practicing using mystery drama books looking for a narrator. Good. I mean, at least you have a goal and you're going for it. And then you will get better and more comfortable with different character voices over time. But it sounds like you're on the right path. You're doing something instead of just sitting back and saying, I don't know, I'm not going to do this because I can't, just I'm proud of you. You have a goal. Go get it. Remy says, Oregon's nice today. Are you in Oregon too? The seasonal rains haven't submerged us all underwater yet. Notice she's yet. I love Oregon. It's so green. I got to get back there. RX-12, baby. Oh, is it RX-12 already? I'm still at RX-11, I think. Hannah says, I finally got my first sample done, and it meets ACX requirements. Whoop, whoop. I just shared it in our Facebook group, so if someone has time, I'd really appreciate some honest feedback. There you go. If you're in my VO Workshop Facebook group, go find Hannah's demo and give her some feedback, would you? Glowin says, "Oh yeah, how could I forget? I hope your coffees are hot. I know I know yours isn't. No, it's not. I mean, it's like tepid. It's not hot, but it's drinkable." Hannah says, "By the way, I can't even access ACX because I live in Estonia, but I still want all my files to pass the standards, and that's a good standard to have, because all the distribution platforms are pretty much the same. So if you can meet ACX's standards but don't have access to ACX, you can come to Academy Voices and submit your audiobooks there." Glowin says to Hannah, "Do you have a VPN? If yes, then move it to a US. No, I wouldn't recommend doing that. No. You can still get audiobook work done you can still find audiobook work through Fiverr, Upwork, all the other voiceover platforms, marketing yourself on social media so authors can find you if you don't have access to ACX. And then also come join Academy Voices, of course. But there are a lot of other opportunities elsewhere. ACX is not the one all be all for audiobooks. There are audiobook opportunities in a lot of other places. Jason says that's a great note about character lead-ins. I often do a Jon Snow impression for my Northern English characters and say, I don't want it. Jon Snow. That random Yoruba guy. I am confused about how commercial broadcast pricing for Fiverr gigs work. Are they applied per word rate, or one selection covers the whole production? If we're talking about Fiverr, it's one add-on for the whole script, for the whole order. That's how that works. So it's a flat fee, just kind of tacked on top of the whatever the amount is for the word count that is there. So it's one per order, basically. Got another super chat. Hold on. Sean Lester, The Voice. Sean's been doing really well on TikTok too. I see you all the time. Great job, Sean. Do you schedule time for playing with voices and styles? Sometimes I feel burned out with my usual gigs and want to have play days. I don't, but you could, for sure. Mainly what I don't do a whole lot of characters. I think when I'm asked for character work, it's usually either my voice as the character, just what you're hearing now, or I do an AI voice, so I sort of sound like Siri, or if you think about like an intercom kind of voice, or like a mothership kind of command voice. I do those. But I don't do a whole lot of like characters. But if you do or want to, then definitely make yourself some time to discover new voices. Watch or when you're watching TV, movies, you're scrolling through YouTube or wherever it is, and you hear an interesting voice, try to emulate it, practice it. Yeah, for sure. Because it's a play day, but it's still professional development as a business owner. So absolutely do it. Thank you for the super chat, Sean. I put it towards the new rig fund. Tanya says to Hannah, your natural voice is distinctive and lovely in your videos. Use that. Yeah. Shanna. Hi from Minnesota. I've looked at 2 auditions asking to hear character voices, but the script didn't include any dialogue to display different voices. I reached out to the rights holder, but no answer. Okay, then what I would do is, if there's no dialogue to showcase the different character voices, just go to ChatGPT and have it write you a short script. Don't overthink it. They might just be looking for like a demo, if they don't give you a script at all. Or another thing you could do is, if the book is on ACX, then the book is also listed on Amazon. So you can go and check the title on Amazon. And sometimes they'll have one of those look inside, where you can look at the book listing and like read 10 pages of it. If that is available to you, then hopefully there's some dialogue in those pages that are visible. You could do that, or just go to ChatGPT and have it, give you a couple of character lines. Don't overthink it. Eric Grimes says, "Hi, Angela and all. I received an offer to record an author's first book a while back. I read the whole book and recorded the first chapter for the first 15-minute check. He asked me to try again and tried to explain what he was envisioning. The second attempt was closer, but he backed out of the contract because I evidently didn't provide the gravitas befitting such a brilliant and groundbreaking work." You're not always going to be a fit for everybody, Eric. Don't take it personally. That's my best advice. I had something similar happen to me not too long ago, just earlier this week. Sometimes you're just not a fit, and that's okay. And that's okay. There's going to be plenty of others that you are a fit for, right? Don't take it personally is my best advice. Just keep moving. You can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time. You just can't. Paul says, just signed up with Academy Voices. Thanks for the tip. Absolutely. Oh, and BTW, by the way, if you join up for Academy, A VO's Journey Academy, and you sign up for either Launchpad Core or the Premier, because there's 4 different tiers of education levels. I teach Launchpad. That's my gig. But if you at least join with Launchpad at the base level, you get Academy Voices membership for free. It's included with your membership at all of the levels. Just FYI. Dwight says, I forgot to celebrate. I was offered 2 books this week. Good. 1 children's and 1 self-improvement. Awesome. Congrats, Dwight. Paul says RX12. It's not showing on Isotope website. Maybe it's still 11. Or maybe she was looking forward to RX12. Eric says, way to go, Dwight. I actually got 2 offers as well. 1, a duet with the amazing Jamie. Yay! That's awesome. I can't wait to hear that. From Angela's extremely talented and helpful group. That's fantastic. Way to go, you guys. Caesar says, we're up to RX11 right now, if I'm correct. Ozone 12 is out, but that's more for mixing and mastering. Don't confuse people, Caesar. The RX suite of apps is what you want. Caesar says, congratulations, Dwight. That is awesome news. Yep. Way to go, Dwight. It's fabulous. All right, you guys, that's all the comments we have for today. I hope something in here was helpful. I hope everything worked over on Facebook land and on Instagram land. If this is the first time you're seeing me, thank you so much for joining me and everyone else here in the chat today. I really appreciate you. If you're looking for more information about me, you can check out my website, voiceoverangela.com. If you have questions, reach out to me. Other than that, we do these live chats every week, every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. And if you're in Launchpad or Academy Voices or anywhere else with Anthony Pica, I will see you there. So I'll see you guys all next week. Bye. Thank you for listening to She Lancer Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. That's me. For more information about me, visit my website, voiceoverangela.com, or hop on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great day.